This is a little bit of a different video. It's a little more serious. So this is all the funny you're gonna get. I love you.
I love you. Don't do that.
Why was the ant confused? Why was the baby ant confused?
What?
Why was the baby ant confused?
I don't know.
Because all his aunts were uncles. Oh wait, I said it backwards. Because all his uncles were aunts.
Y'all see what I'm talking about? Y'all see what I'm talking about, right? This is what I deal with right here. That.
You want to give me back?
Get you back what?
Hey, do you want to give me back?
Give you back where? Where I'm giving you to?
I don't know.
So, I mean, if I give you back, they just gonna drop you back off here. So
Why? Because I talk too much?
way too much.
I talk too much.
Way too much. You're the talker. You're the talker. You're the social one.
Excuse me. Why you do that face?
Because you're sweaty.
So? This week I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about something that is very personal. It's actually one of the reasons I started this channel, because YouTube really helped me when I was going through everything, and watching the stories from people and seeing them go through it kind of helped me during that time. And so hopefully somebody going through some of this stuff can gain some benefit from this, or something like that. So we're going to talk about miscarriages. I know, an exciting topic. Statistics say that 1 in 4 women experience pregnancy and infancy loss, and that 1 in 8 women experience some type of, or 1 in 8 couples experience some type of fertility issues. So I wanted to hopefully bring awareness to this, and to shed some light on what to do when someone you know is going through either fertility issues or in particular a miscarriage. So I wanted to give some background on kind of what we've been through, and then hopefully give some insight into how, if someone you know is going through this, kind of what you can do, what to say, maybe not what to say, and how, if you are going through, maybe some things that will encourage you. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. In May of 2017, I think it was 2017, yeah, we were actually on a trip to the mountains to watch my brother get married. It was a beautiful trip, and I had gotten a positive pregnancy test, and had decided that I was going to tell Jay that he was going to be a dad. And so we actually went, and we went on Chimney Rock. I took him to the top of Chimney Rock, and we stood on the rock. I took out the pregnancy test and showed it to him, and he felt like he was on top of the world, and he was really excited at the thought of having a baby. Unfortunately, a week or two, maybe a week later, I started bleeding, and since learned that it's called a chemical pregnancy, which is where you get pregnant and it's early enough that you catch it on a positive pregnancy test, but you don't sustain the pregnancy. I've actually had a couple of chemical pregnancies, so very early on. A lot of women don't even know that they have them, but because throughout this process I've been kind of checking and monitoring everything, I know that I've had a couple, and I've had a couple where I have gotten a positive pregnancy test, but by the time I got to the doctor's office, my levels were either so low they considered it a chemical pregnancy, or I've had it once where I didn't even have any levels to be pregnant. So that was kind of sad, kind of our first experience with loss, and we didn't really know what that meant. And I didn't know quite what to feel because it was so early and I didn't feel right. It's too early, so I don't feel right grieving something that was that early at that time. I didn't understand what that meant. I just have this whole mix of emotions. And then I felt bad that I even told Jay. I thought, oh, maybe I should have waited. So it's just like a whole ball of emotions, which most of this process is. And so in November of 17, actually October is when I took the second round, and later on that month found out that I was pregnant. But I started bleeding in a weird time, and I thought, something's wrong. And so I actually went to the doctor, and they treated me for an ectopic pregnancy, which means it had grown, the pregnancy had developed, but somewhere beside where it was supposed to go. I did not have to have surgery. A lot of women find out when it ruptures, and it's extremely unusual, but it was very early, and so they caught it, and I ended up having methotrexate injections, which a lot of people use when they have autoimmune disorders, but I felt really bad after those injections, and that terminated the pregnancy. That was a really hard time. You feel guilty because you feel like, I felt, number one, that I had taken this medicine to help myself ovulate, and I caused an ectopic pregnancy. I felt very guilty. You're going to the doctor every 48 hours to get blood drawn, to check everything. They're doing ultrasounds to check your ovaries to make sure there's nothing wrong there. And then the injection itself was painful. I did not feel well afterwards. And we were not allowed to try again for 3 months because it could have negative impacts on the fetus if we tried. So that lasted for a really long time. I also, during that time, experienced some overstimulation of my ovaries, and so I had several cysts that ruptured during that time. I was constantly in and out of the emergency room, my doctor's office, trying to figure out what exactly was going on and keeping up my daily life, my job, and all that. We got pregnant again in June of 2018. It was an exciting time. We thought, third time's the charm, let's go. That one did not last long either. Before I was able to get to the doctor, I started bleeding. I was actually supposed to go out of town for a conference, or not a conference, it was a meeting for one of my professional associations. And that was tough because I had to involve people at work. I had to tell them I couldn't go out of town. And you just feel guilty. You kind of you want to explain yourself, but you don't want people in your business, but you do want people to know. And I was so devastated that morning that actually my husband had to call the person I was going out of town with and let her know that I would not be joining them. And then I'm missing out, and it was so painful, and it was just so messy. And for a little bit, got pregnant again in September of 2018, and lost that one as well. That was another chemical. November of 18, again, lost that one. Well, in August, I got pregnant. And again, was very excited. I told Jamal about it, and there's something, when you go through this many losses, you kind of lose. He knows too much. I can't surprise him like I used to be able to, because he knows too much. He went and did his own research. We've tried everything, lifting the legs. We've tried eating certain things. We've tried certain oils and all that stuff, and not a whole lot happened. You lose the ability to be able to surprise. So I've told him about it, and the ectopic was bad, just because it was just so much, and there were so many other health issues involved and all that. But this August, I made it to 8 weeks, and you start to make plans, and you start to make dreams, and you try to, you're scared because of your history, but everything looks good. And there's just something, if you've never been through it, which it is more common than most people think, and most people don't talk about it, but there's just something when the moment you realize something's wrong, and the emotional roller coaster that goes on. The pain was worse. It felt like, I'm assuming that's what labor feels like, the tamed down version of labor, almost like period cramps, really bad period cramps, and then actually passing the tissue or the ball of tissues. It was very traumatic. It was very difficult. And you ask yourself, is it my fault? Did I stress too much? Did I not eat the right things? What could I have done differently? And now, looking back, the answer is nothing. I could not have done anything differently. But at the time, it was very, very difficult. The thing about miscarriages is that they're weird. Nobody talks about them. It is taboo. And when they do talk about it, they say really dumb things. So I would like to encourage you that if you know somebody that's going through a miscarriage, or that has been through a miscarriage recently, and you're looking for ways to support them, please don't just say nothing. That's really bad. The best way that I can describe it is treat it as if their child died, because that's what happened. Their child died. If I had a 3-year-old child that passed away, we would have a funeral. People would bring me food. We're in the South. That's what happens. People would say, I'm so sorry for your loss. People would come and sit at my house. That's what we do. When you go through a miscarriage, people either don't say anything, or they say, at least you know you can get pregnant. It's not God's time yet. Just stop trying, and it will eventually happen. And while I recognize that those people are trying to be helpful, those are literally the worst things that you can say to someone. Imagine going to a funeral for a 3-year-old and telling the mother, at least you can get pregnant again. It was God's plan for your child to die. You would never do that. But when women miscarry, that is exactly what happens. and it makes no sense. I can't answer what it's like to go through a miscarriage for every woman because every woman's experience is different. I know women who have miscarried at 12 and 13, 14 weeks. I know women who have had stillborn children. They carried them the entire full term and gave birth to a child that had already passed. I never heard a heartbeat. I know many women who have. And that has to be so devastating. Every woman is going to be different. But ladies, we also can't forget that our men are also grieving. It's not happening to their bodies, but it's still happening to them. I tend to process things by talking about them. So I want people to talk to me about the miscarriage. Ask me not personal questions about the experience, but are you okay? I'm sorry. What do the doctors say? Those seem like really intruding questions, but for me, it helps. Not everybody's going to be like that, so please don't go around asking random people what their doctors say about their fertility. That's probably not a good idea, but it just depends on the person. And then if you're going to treat them anyway, treat them as if they're grieving, because they are. And if you don't know how to treat somebody that's grieving, just be there for them. You can say, I'm sorry. You don't have to give an explanation. Just say, I'm sorry. Literally, for when I went through my ectopic pregnancy, 2 of my best friends came over and we just hung out. I think we watched movies and drank wine and ate popcorn. I can't remember what we did, but we just hung out. We didn't even talk about what was going on a whole bunch. And it just meant the world for me that they just came and were there. Bring food. It doesn't matter what kind. It doesn't matter, if I say I need it, if I say I don't. When you're going through something like that, I don't want to have to stop and take time to think about what to eat, what my husband's going to eat, especially if you have other children, what they're going to eat. Bring food. You can never go wrong bringing food. Bring paper plates and utensils. Please don't make us wash dishes. We are physically going through something. Don't make us wash dishes. And just be mindful what you say. Most of us know that God has a plan. I believe that the Lord is going to bless us with a beautiful baby, that He's going to complete our family one way or the other. He just hasn't done it yet. But I also don't need you to tell me to stop trying, to trust God, to try this, try that. We have done it all. And then just be there. That's the biggest thing. Just be there. And don't just say nothing. So many women go through this, but no one talks about it. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, so we can start the conversation. If you have been through a miscarriage, I really encourage you not to try to ignore those feelings. I have learned through grief and through all of these losses and then losing my mom, that ignoring that grief is the worst possible thing. You can't ignore grief. It will come back. I actually went to grief counseling one time and they told me if you broke your leg, you would not ignore the broken leg. That would be dumb. But when people are broken emotionally with grief, they try to ignore it, and you can't do that. My counselor actually encouraged me to schedule a time to grieve, and he said, I know that sounds crazy, but you are setting a limited time during the day to think about your loss, to feel those emotions, and to get through it. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay if you grieve because you were pregnant for 1 week. It's okay to be grieved because you were pregnant for 3 weeks. Some women name their children that they've miscarried. I have not done that. That I don't really have a reason why for you, but I have not. Some women do. Some women do certain things to honor their children that they've lost. I keep saying I'm going to make Christmas ornaments, and I haven't. But I think part of that is I'm just not there yet either. I have been thinking about getting a tattoo. 6 dots. Because I'm really like minimalist when it comes to tattoos. But feel free to allow yourself to not attend baby showers. I went to like 3 baby showers and could barely hold it in. And as soon as I got home, started bawling my eyes out and ruined my whole day. So feel free to tell your friends and family, I'm not attending baby showers.
Right.
Baby showers, kids' birthday parties, baby dedications. If you got to come off social media because everybody and their mother, when you start, I'm 32, I'll be 33 this year. I don't remember how old I am. Everyone around you starts having children. The crackhead on the street starts having children. I promise. Everybody has kids. The royal family has kids. And you're going to hear baby, 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 baby. And I am grateful. Shout out to my husband who is sitting here watching me record this video. Because I could not have gotten through anything without him. He is my rock. You are my rock, rock, rock. You remember that song, Jamal? You are my rock, 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 rock. It's Plies. Okay. I'm going to put a link to that song somewhere. You are my rock, 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 rock. But my husband has been my absolute rock through all of this. He has encouraged me to keep going. He has kept me from just laying on the bathroom floor and crying. He's been there through doctor's appointments and whatever we decide to do. I know that he will continue to be there. So, thank you, baby.